Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, the weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream hosted by yours truly, Lou Dolphin. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against that goal are not welcome and will not be tolerated. You can follow us at Handelabra Games on Twitch and Handelabra on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can follow me at LouDolphin21 on Twitter, and on Twitch and YouTube, it's just Lou Dolphin, no digits. Sentinels of the Multiverse, One Deck Dungeon, and Bottom of the Ninth are available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices, and Aeon's End is available on Steam Early Access. You can get the games and more info at Handelabra.com. Hello, Seamus Butler. Good relevant time of day to use, sir. Here we are playing games as we are wont to do. And let's see. So I just had a thought of going and kind of doing a vanilla game. No progression at all. And I want to play in the Dragon's Cave. I guess that's kind of cheating, but I want to do a vanilla game just because I've seen a number of comments in the past several weeks saying that One Deck Dungeon is an impossible random game and that you can't win. So I just want to prove them wrong, and progression kind of makes that cheating. But I'm going to do Fearless in the Dragon's Cave this week. So the Dragon's Cave, let's see. So Hall of Statues, spend 5 time before your first turn on each floor. So that's just extra time that gets spent. It actually gives you a lot of information when you look at your discard pile, because you'll see 5 encounters that you won't be facing on that floor, which if you know the contents of the deck, that's great. There's no other special rules for each floor, but we do have a 2 armor for perils on the first floor, a 6 heart for perils on the second floor, so every time you face a trap, you have to roll a 6 or you will take a hard damage. And then on the third floor, there's a 5 armor in addition to the 2 armor, so you have to roll a 5 or above before you can cover anything else, which is obviously hard. But, you know, obviously we would have to plan around that. For the combat encounters, we have a strength 3 that only has 1 heart of consequence if we can't cover it. On the second floor, we have the 5 mana, which comes with 2 hearts, which can be costly. And then on floor 3, we have a 10 armor strength, so that has to be covered before any other square gets covered. And then the boss, I forgot I have animations turned up. This is fast. Yeah, so there's agility, there's mana, there's strength. The agility, we have to get 5s and 6s, and we actually need to get 2 5s at the very least in order to cover this armor box. The special rule on the boss fight, heroic dice cannot be placed on skull boxes. So these 6s on the right, we have to cover with the appropriate color. And then, of course, these mana 16, strength 17, each have 4 hearts of consequences. If nothing gets covered on this, that's 11 hearts, which will end the game. I think there's no way to survive that, period, because you have, what, 5 hearts base in a single-player game? It doesn't show, but I think it's... Or shouldn't it show? Yeah, well, yeah, it shows duh right there. I was expecting a number. I don't know why. 5 hearts base. At level 4, you can equip 5 items, I want to say. So that will give you at most 5 hearts. Yeah. So that's that. So let's do Dragon's Cave. I think strength focus is a little more important. I mean, nice agility numbers are, of course, nice, but let's be all strengthful. And the warrior is all about the strength, right? Because the others don't have as much strength. The paladin is the next best with 3 strength and 3 mana. And it's probably a good contender for this dungeon because of the strength and mana requirement on the front side and on the boss fight. So let's compare the heroic feats for the warrior. Store heroic die here for each damage you take. You may store up to 2 dice at a time. So the warrior likes to take damage, but this can't be used on the boss. Most of those store heroic skills can't be used on the boss. And she doesn't have a skill per se, but Second Wind says when you descend, heal 2 damage. So you could take damage to get heroic dice and then regain 2. And she actually starts with 6 hearts, which is rather unusual for a hero. I think every other hero has 5. The paladin stores a heroic die when you open a door with 4+ experience, and up to 2 may be stored. And her skill is, for every 2 hearts you would lose, prevent 1 heart. You cannot prevent damage otherwise. It's not even a skill, actually. It doesn't have the usual skill icon. This is just an automatic skill. It's always used. I shouldn't say automatic skill. That means something different. But this is a permanent effect. And for every 2 hearts, she would lose, prevent 1, but you cannot prevent damage otherwise. So any other effect that prevents damage is ignored. And so I guess the Paladin would survive an 11 heart round. Because she would take 10 would become 5, plus 1 is 6. So if she had all health ups, she could survive it. And I think the warrior, because she starts with 6, could also survive an 11 if she was at, yeah. Okay, so it's between the paladin and the warrior, and the warrior doesn't have that much mana, so I guess I'm gonna go with the paladin then. I kind of like this heroic feat because it's a bit random. Only when you open a door with 4+ experience do you get the heroic die. The warrior you can control, but since we're all about the random, let's do the random. And I'm just gonna stick with healing since it's all vanilla today. So Dragon's Cave, Paladin, healing, fearless, standard, no progression. Let's see how this goes. Super fast, jeez Louise. I didn't even turn it up that I didn't even turn it up that much. Like what? It's like at 75% instead of 50. Hey Andromeda Echo, how are you doing? All right, so it is a no progression game, so all my fun healing bonuses and other basic skills and whatnot are not happening today, so we have to keep that in mind as we proceed. But we do have a 4 experience fight here, so that's good. Hello Chiraptor, how are you doing? All right, so and this is actually not terrible for the Paladin because it's all strength and mana. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hearts of consequences. So kind of tempting to just even do it. But lucky familiar, reroll 1 of your dice or increase 1 of your dice by 1. And actually, this can be used anywhere. Combats, perils, bosses. One of those rare things that can be used everywhere. Don't really like the reroll mechanic. I can reroll a 1, I guess. Increase 1 of your dice by 1 can help us on the boss. The agility die. I mean, obviously, we're lacking in agility, and we will need agility for the boss, but I kind of like that skill, honestly. I wasn't initially happy with it, but I kind of like it. Tempted to just do it because, what's the worst that can happen? I take 3 hearts of consequences? Hello, Team Orchid. Look at all these people showing up. I'm going to do this because dice. Gives me a 3. And my Amana gives me a 4, which at least covers one of those squares. This 3 and the 1 are not useful for anything right now. I have to cover this 11 armor. I have a heroic 3 that can be used on one of the strength squares. And so, let's see. I mean, obviously, we could try to put the 5 and the 5 there, but I'd have to get 1 more, which I can do. Is there any way I could save one of those 5s? Somehow, it doesn't look like it, because at best, I can get a 2 out of this. So I'm going to have to sacrifice all of those 5s to the greater cause. And I guess that 2 might as well go there. What do I care more about? Time or hearts? Well, that will lower a heart by 1. And that lowers a heart by 1. So it's only 1 heart in 3 time, which isn't bad. The armor skill is coming in handy here. It's it's stopping 1 heart of damage, I guess. So it's not that useful, but it's something. But we do have the healing potion, which we can use to heal 3 damage. I mean, we don't have potions right now, but might as well get to 3 damage and heal it with the potion. All right. Let's take the lucky familiar. Generally, I do like the fixed kind of skills, like the ones that increase dice numbers or ones that give you a dice of a fixed number, because that mitigates the randomness. The skills that involve rolling dice or re-rolling dice, I don't really like too much. All right, so Decipher It is easier. Destroy It, very hard. This is a 2 experience thing. Persistence is a roll skill, costs 2 strength, gives you a strength and a heroic. Useful everywhere, just like Lucky Familiar. It will strengthen our strength traps because we could take our 2 worst strength dice and essentially re-roll them. The heroic die doesn't really matter in traps, but it will matter more in the combats. Did the screen just go black for a few seconds for anyone else? Well, I don't know, but it does look like it's still black on my end. Let me just open up the stream real quick. Hi, Lude! Okay, I see myself. So I don't know. If it did go black, then I missed it. I would probably go for the agility item here, since we are low on agility. We can only have 1 item, but that's probably worth it. Also, can I see? You can have 7 items at level 4. Also, it's kind of weird how this goes up. Items, you get 2 more with each level, but skills, you only get 1 more with each level. And you start with more skills than items, so that's interesting. Okay. So I think I'm gonna do it. 2 time is costly, but the mana is easier. He says before he fails. Actually, we got a 2 and we have a 6, and the Lucky Familiar would have helped if needed. But I'll take the agility die. Shadow, who spends time for each skill you use. Now, Static Burst is a really good skill. Spend 4 mana, gain a 4 strength and a 4 agility, and then increase any one of your dice by 1. This combat, though, is going to be very, very tricky. I have to get 10 armor with agility, and I have no heroics, and my Lucky Familiar can only increase the die by 1, so I'd have to roll a 9 between my 2 agilities before I can consider doing anything. So I think I'm going to leave and come back for this fight. I'll try to get a heroic through Valiant, maybe. Which Goblin does not provide. And Goblin also has X equals 4 per open door, which there's more than 1 open door, so it's increased. But Shimmer Blast, I guess, would sort of help in that other fight. Although my mana also has to be used elsewhere. Now the problem is this is an 8 armor, and my mana is not going to be good for anything. But the consequences, what are the consequences? We have 5 hearts and 2 time. It's not really that bad of consequences if I fail to cover anything. I'll survive the fight and I'll spend only 2 time. Covering 1 square will remove a heart. Or covering 1 of those heart squares. So yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And I'm gonna have the worst strength roll of all time. And, well, the worst roll of all time. Come on. I have rolled 8 dice and 5 of them were 1s. I think this is where I want to use the Lucky Familiar for the reroll, because increasing a die by 1 isn't going to help, and I think rolling the strength is better. So my mana 5, mana 4 turns into a heroic 4 that can be used somewhere. I mean, currently my strength dice does cover the 8. So I guess maybe I don't want to roll the strength then, do I? Cause I mean, I guess if I roll the strength and I roll a 3, then I could do 3, 4, and a heroic 4 into this armor box, and then put the strength 6 into the 2 health box. But that I would still only take 2 hearts of damage because 2 becomes 1 plus an additional 1. Increasing a die by 1 isn't going to help either. So, like, if I roll this strength 1 and I get like a 5, or maybe a 6. Let's say I get a 6, yeah. Total you know, shot out of the dark. If I roll a 6, would that help at all? Like, is there any value to rolling a 6 in this situation? Like, I mean, I could also convert these agilities into a heroic 1, and I get a heroic 4 here, so that's a 5 there. I'm just gonna roll this. Yeah. Okay. So I got a 5. That's a good outcome, but I still have to cover the armor box. But if I do this, and then I have a agility or a heroic 4, I only take 1 damage in 1 time, and that's pretty good. I'm at my item limit, and 2 experience isn't really going to help too much, so I'm going to take Shimmer Blast. So this spends 3 mana to roll an agility. It won't help in the shadow fight too much, especially because if I use that skill, I spend time. So I'm going to explore the other side of the dungeon. The cave-in. Well, I can dismantle it. Crushing Blow is a good skill, and it will certainly help in the boss fight because it will give me a strength 6 for sort of free. Yeah, and the agility option is terrible. So we will dismantle, and I don't need to use Lucky Familiar. I'll take Crushing Blow. And I'm going to keep Lucky Familiar. Shimmer Blast isn't exciting. I just grabbed it because the 2 experience wasn't useful at the time. Spend time for each 1 rolled. Why do I feel like I'm going to roll a bunch of 1s? The Heroism Potion, however, this is a game changer. We're going to enter. We're going to do this. Come hell or high water. And we rolled a 1, but I can Crushing Blow that 1 into a 6. And I can increase the die by 1, and actually if I increase this one by 1, I can use it to cover the armor box, and then the mana is covered. I won't be able to cover all the strength. I don't think I can ever cover all the strength. If I could cover that 4, it would be a bit better than covering the 3. But I'd have to use Lucky Familiar to... Like, I could convert these into heroics, but then this mana 1's not doing anything. I can convert this into a heroic 3, but that also doesn't really help me. I can put the heroic 3 in there, and then I'd have a rogue mana 1, but that doesn't help me, period. So... regardless, this mana 1 is useless unless I increase it with Lucky Familiar. So logically, I think there's nothing I can really do here to change this outcome. But I will take the Heroism Potion. This Heroism Potion changes 2 of my non-heroic dice to 6s. Which, I mean, that's what I want. I have to be careful because potions are very limited, but I could heal right now to heal all 3 of my hearts, or I could save heroism and get out of a terrible situation, or I could use it on the boss even. Potions have to be considered very carefully. Now, I'm a little sad because I'm not going to be able to get to level 2 unless I take damage. Or I convert Lucky Familiar, which I don't really want to do. Question is, do I want to do Shadow and run the risk of failing? Because I still don't have a good way of dealing with the 10 armor. I mean, Heroism would automatically cover that, but I'd still have to do the strength and the mana part, which isn't that hard, I guess, but... I mean, I guess if I do that, I would spend the Heroism Potion I would replace Lucky Familiar with Static Burst. Lucky Familiar is 4 experience. It would take me to level 2, which will give me a potion back, and then I'd have Heroic Die for the next floor. Yeah, I'm gonna do that then. So I have to be careful because any skill I use spends a time. But my strength is covered. My mana is not covered. And I currently have a 6 there. So if I spend, like, so what? So currently everything's covered except the 4 and the 5. Well, not really everything covered, but because I still have to cover that 10 armor. Which I can get a heroic 1 to put into Crushing Blow. That will spend 1 time, but then I could throw that 6 and 4 into a heroic 4, and then that would cover the 10 armor with these 2. And then I cover the 5, the 3, and the 3, leaving the 4 and 5 uncovered. I would take 1 heart of damage, and I would spend 2 time, and then I would take damage from the end of floor, and I would die. So that's not a good option there. In order to survive without using a potion or something, I would have to take only 1 heart of damage, so I can't. And currently I'm only taking 1 heart of damage, but if I don't remove, I mean, like, well, currently meaning ignoring the armor box, if I cover the 5-3-3, I would only take 1 heart of damage and spend 2 time. But it's a bit problematic. If I try to remove some of these strengths or manas to help cover the shield, then I would take 1 more damage. So I have to use a potion here in order to survive. And what potion would give me the most utility here? If I converted those 2 manas to 6s, it wouldn't help me at all, right? I'd still have to cover that strength, or that armor 10. And this strength die here is not being used, but I would have to sacrifice like this strength 5 for the cause. If I increase this agility 1 to a 6, I could also increase another die to a 6, but then I won't cover all the squares. I do have Lucky Familiar, but that's not gonna immediately help me here. I mean, if I use Heroism, I would survive. I just want to try to cover all the squares still. Wait, I would do that, right? This would increase. Oh, I can't cover the 5, right? I can't cover that 5 is the issue. That's the problem. If I increase these 2 to a 6, I can't cover the 5, or I can't cover both the 4 and the 5. So I'd take a heart of damage. I would spend a time, which isn't the end of the world, I guess. Everything's off by 1. Otherwise, I could Lucky Familiar this to a 4, but then I can't also do other things. If I just had 1 more die, this would be nice. Because I could, like, convert these to a heroic 3 that can cover the mana. I could use Lucky Familiar to increase this to a 4. But then I don't have a strength die left. Is it possible to re-roll the 2? I do still have Lucky Familiar, but the problem is I can't. Well, yeah, I guess that's the best option here. You're right. There's the re-roll part I forgot about. Because that's a 50-50 shot of rolling it to a 4 or higher. I'm just trying to think if I could, like, replace that with the strength, but I can't, right? Yeah. Okay, let's spend the time. Let's re-roll this and get lucky. And I was destined to always have that too, so that's just gonna happen then. Okay, let's take Static Burst. That levels me up. I have my potion. Yay! All right. All right. So we are at 4 hearts of damage. Someone's gonna complain. I guess it is a good opportunity to heal. I wanted to keep my potion for heroism, but 1 damage is too many. Phantom. Hi. How are you doing? This is a terrible guy. Discard all 1s and 3s rolled. Remember that time I had 8 dice and 5 of them were 1s? That would be terrible. And I would currently die if I faced you and covered nothing, and I have to have at least a Strength 4 and Agility 4 to even get started. Which actually Static Burst would guarantee. Provided I have a mana 4. Triple Strike, it's very expensive, but also very good. 5, 5, 5, make one of them a 6. I mean, since Crushing Blow already gives me a 6, a Strength 6, Static Burst would also give me a mana 6. And if I... Well, I guess one of the Agility 5s would probably go in the armor slot, or I could use... Oh, I don't have... Or no, Static Burst would also increase it by 1, or increase any die by 1. Triple Strike only increases one of these by 1. Something I would like to do someday, but I think I will have to wait until I have some mitigation there. Fire Elemental, who provides Mana Fountain, which gives me Static Burst for free. Only in combats. Before the hero, we lose a heart. There are 4 mana squares. Well, 3 mana squares, a mana rectangle, 2 agility squares, and a strength. So I think I'm gonna enter. I'm gonna use one of these. Because whenever you have 2 here, you might as well use one of them. In case you accidentally open a 4 experience door and can't gain a die. So we do have a agility 6. We have a an agility 3, so that's good. And we do have a strength 3. We do not have a mana 6 or a mana 5. Can't heroism it. Currently I'm dying. Currently I'm not dying. So the problem now is there any way I can... Well, wait, so I'm taking... There's 3 hearts. If I can, like, move this mana over to the 5 spot somehow, I would spend 1 more time, but I would take 1 fewer damage. I could put it into Static Burst, and that would give me a Strength 4, Agility 4, increase the die by 1. So actually, I could take this mana out, increase it by 1, and then Static Burst's 2 4s could turn into a Heroic for the 11 square. I also have Crushing Blow. That gives me a Strength 6, but I don't have any other die to go along with it that would help. I mean, I guess covering the mana 6 would be slightly better than covering the mana 5 because I would take the same damage but spend 1 fewer time. So if I static burst and increase this die by 1, and then I get crushing blows, strength 6, I could... Wait, what am I thinking? I can't cover the 6. What am I thinking? Strength 6 and mana 5 turns into a heroic 5. That's not any better. Why am I so dumb? I think because I thought that was still the thing that did the thing with the stuff that one time. But I can actually cover the mana 3 still, because we still have heroics left over. But we had no hope of covering that mana 6. So that's the best I can do. Mana Fountain is a really good skill, and now Static Burst will be used for free. Except I can't use it in traps. Let's see. We probably need more items. Somehow we only have 1 item. I guess because we only just leveled up. So we probably want to get that strength item. Just because we have to consider getting more items. Paladin is at their skill limit, so I can't even take that skill, but I don't really want the skill. Disenchant. Spend 3 time. I'm gonna enter. I have 3 dice plus the heroic, that's 4, but I have to get a 6. So because I'm scared, I'm gonna use Valiant to increase my chances of getting a 6. And ultimately I did not get a 6. So that was a waste. But if I hadn't rolled that die, I would not have been able to cover the 8. Yeah, so that was still useful. But I am going to take 1 damage and I'm back at 4, which makes me sad. So I have to be very careful now to not take damage, and another trap is kind of bad. Because having to cover that 6 is always going to be problematic. None of these skills are trap skills. So if I go for it, I'm rolling 5 dice with I'm going to clobber logs. I'd be rolling 5 dice. What are the chances of me not rolling a 6 in 5 dice? Well, actually, it's not that hard to figure out. It's 5 divided by 6 to the 5 power, and then 1 minus that. Or rather, this is the chance of me rolling at least 1 6. It's a 60% chance that I roll at least 1 6 if I roll 5 dice. Is 60% chance good? 40% chance of game over? Right here? I feel like not. But I think the Phantom is also a terrible choice right now. Although Mana Fountain and Static Burst will give me 2 4s, which will cover the armor slots. I just can't take any damage in this fight though, which means I have to cover everything. Like, there's no getting around it. I have to cover everything. And that Agility 5 and Agility 6 are not good things to see. In fact, the Agility 5, Agility 6, Strength 5, Strength 6, Mana 5? No, that's not going to happen. If any boxes are empty, spend 2 time. Well, we're going to enter because we don't really have many choices left. So we do have a Strength 6 option. We do have something there. I'm not happy about the Mana 5 right now. So I can Static Burst. I'm just thinking about where I would want to use that. The problem is I'm probably dead. Unless something can be done. The problem is I have to cover this 5, and I have to cover this 5 to survive. And I can't do both. Hmm. Those aren't good hmms. So like this strength 5, this strength 6, they have to go there, and I have no other 5s, so I can't get heroics in any other way. Actually, I guess the 6 doesn't have to go there. Spending time is ideal to dying, so never mind. The problem is I still have to cover this 5. I guess I don't have to cover this 3 either, but that's not helping me. Hey Sparky, how are you doing? You're watching the end of the Paladin? The Paladin? Because... like, yeah, obviously that's gonna happen, but what die am I going to increase by 1? Because I don't have a heroic to work with this, and yeah. Gah. I think there's nothing I can do. So I'll just do the best that I can. Interesting, sure. It's the Triforce! Okay, so it turns out if you play on Fearless difficulty, this game is quite hard. So let's do that again, but not on Fearless. I should play on Novice. Because I haven't played on Novice for a while. Playing on Novice as opposed to Fearless. So on Veteran you have, it says regular game rules. So ordinarily you would, alright, so on Novice you start at experience level 2 and you have an additional potion token. Essentially you like automatically level up to level 2. So you have the heroic die, you can have 3 items, you can have 3 skills. So you don't have to struggle in the beginning with dice as hard. Standard, you start with a random card as experience. So you're at level 1, but you have a random card as experience. It could be 2 experience, it could be 4 experience. But that means that there's a chance that you can get to level 2 after the first fight, depending on what your starting card is and what the experience is from the first fight. Veteran is level 1, but Fearless says you start with no potion tokens. You ordinarily start with 1 potion. So that's what Fearless is. I'm going to go on Novice because I'm a novice. I'm trying to act like I'm a novice here, I guess. The people who say this game is terrible and hard, just play on Novice. Let's do that. Now, if you were playing on Progression, I would have gotten a check mark for leveling up and a check mark for getting to level 2. Or no, that's the same thing. A check mark for leveling up, a check mark for descending the floor. I would have gotten 2 check marks. It takes at least 6 to cover a single thing on the progression sheet. Progression does help with the difficulty of this game, but yeah. Hey, Balooey. Alright, so, same situation as before, but we now have a heroic die! Yay! So 4 dice for bashing open. Have to get a 2 with one of them, and a 9 with the other 3. Or, no, sorry, 11 with the other 3. I'm trying to subtract in a place where it doesn't make sense. But it's 11 across 3, which is an average of 3.67. The average dice roll is a 3.5. So, a little less than 50% chance I can cover Bash It Open, but it's only 2 hearts and 2 time, which translates to only 1 heart for the Paladin. And if you flee, you're spending 2 time just to come back to this again, so really, it's just 1 heart of consequence for the fight right now. But this can either give me a mana die, which will increase my mana roll, accuracy, which is very expensive to get a heroic 6, but I don't have enough heroic dice even to get it. So I'd be doing this essentially for the mana die, because 2 experience is not really that useful to me right now. And I did it. So success in this game comes down to like treating this like a like you have to weigh the consequences. Like you have to weigh the value of fleeing, the value of using a potion, the value of doing the encounter versus coming back later. You have to keep all of those things in mind instead of like kind of treating this like, oh, potions are for healing, or potions are for emergencies, or oh, I'm hurt, let's use a potion mindlessly. You have to kind of weigh the utility there. Like when I had heroism, you have to weigh whether the 3 damage you heal would have been more useful than saving yourself in a terrible situation. Like if I had heroism in that last fight that I died in, then nothing bad would have happened. All right, clobber logs. I think we had this before. Static bursts we had before. I mean, there's more than one static burst in the game, but I think we had clobbered logs previously to get it. Like this is almost an easy decision for me because static burst is such a good skill and clobber logs is not hard to do. Since we do have the extra mana die, it's going to be easier to fund static burst. The agility die would be nice, but I like fixed number skills. Now here's a good time to actually go for the agility die because persistence isn't that useful. 2 experience isn't as useful. I could go with the destroy it route, but unlike last time, if I fail it, I would take 2 hearts of damage because it's the first 2 become 1, and then the third doesn't get reduced, so it's 2 damage. If I decipher it, I spend 2 time up front, which is the same as fleeing and coming back and doing destroy it anyway. But it's with 4 + 1 dice, it should be like trivial to cover the 6 and the 2. Like if I roll 5 1s, I lose. Otherwise, I have at least 1 2, and then I have 4 dice left over, and I have to roll a 1.5 on average when the average roll is 3.5. So yeah. Destroy it, I would have 4 dice, so I'd have to roll 11 across the 3 after spending 2, which is, yeah. So I think spending the 2 time for decipher it is fine. And we'll take the agility die. I feel like I'm being a bit more tutorial-y than I usually am. But you always want to consider like the end goal is defeating the dragon. So you kind of always want to look at this side of the card and see like what you'll ultimately have to do. Ultimately, I'm going to have to get 6s in some capacity in order to damage the dragon, which I could either luck into the 6s or I could use skills that give me 6s. And the skills that give me 6s are very useful, but very rare. Skills that increase a die, or potions that increase a die, are also useful, slightly more common. The armors I have to deal with first and foremost, otherwise I can't proceed with the fight, so I have to get at least 2 agility 5s at some point. Currently I only have 2 agility dice, but static burst does give me an agility 4 and an option of increasing a die. Well, I say option. An ability to forcibly increase one of my dice if I want. It's not optional, but that would give me this guarantees me an agility 5. So currently one of these armors are accounted for regardless of anything else at the expense of 4 mana. And I also get a 4 strength out of it that would go into the strength 17. So I'm starting to get good setup for the dragon. So here we have the consistency skill, which is almost certainly what I'm going to go for, because consistency is consistent. And if I get the other part of the combo here, then this game turns trivial. If you know what I'm talking about, then you'll see. But yeah. So the consequences here are 5 hearts, 5 time, and there's no armor here, so whatever I cover eliminates consequences. So I think I just want to go for this. I will take 1 damage straight up, but even if I cover nothing, I'll survive, so that's fine. But consistency is really good. I think, let's see, do I want to use this die or save it? Because we do have a lot of mana, but 4 of it has to go in a static burst. Well, it doesn't have to. The 6s are going to be a bit difficult, but that's fine, because even if I don't cover them, it's only 1 damage and 2 time across the 2. The 3s aren't going to be too hard to cover, famous last words, but static burst will guarantee 2 of them get covered at least. The 11 is the one that's a bit hard, but I think the heroic feat isn't really going to tremendously help me that much. I got a 6. I also have this 6. Yeah, we have the 2 of the 6s. Great. Yeet. So, if I go for static burst, so like I can't cover this 11 unless I get heroics, which can be done. There's 2 heroics right there. If I go for static burst, I'm gonna get an agility 4 that covers this square. I get a strength 4, which can combo with this strength 4 to give me another strength die, and I could increase the die by 1. I could increase this agility by 1, and then combine these into a heroic to cover the 11. And that covers it entirely, and I'd only spend 2 time. But that's like literally the same. Oh no, right, no, I'd have this 4 here covered, so I'd spend 1 fewer time, right? Did I? Oh right, yeah, I was gonna use the agility 4. Yeah, so static burst would be fine there. I have to increase that to a 2 to turn that into a heroic, and turn this into a heroic. And then I have the agility 4, and now I'm spending only 1 time. But now I have consistency. So this is very useful. It will guarantee, at the expense of an agility die, it will guarantee I get 4s. It doesn't help with 5s or 6s. Or will it? This was the boss, or not the boss, this was the enemy I died to. The irony is that the clarity potion would have given me a potion token that would have healed me. I'm not really fond of the clarity, other than it can give you a potion token for claiming it, but re-rolling 1s and 2s, well, I'm already going to consistency those. Roll a heroic die, it can give you a heroic die at the expense of a potion token, so. Okay, but yeah, so consistency will give me a guarantee that my 2 mana will cover the armors, that 2 of my strengths will cover those. So I just have to get 5s and 6s with strength or agility. Static burst will guarantee I can get a 5. So this is going to happen. I don't need to use the heroic die. So I have a strength 6. I don't have an other, or I do have a heroic 5. Okay, that's something. Also note that consistency and static burst pair well together. So I think might as well just throw that 2 in there. Look at all the 4s I have now. And then I can static burst. And if I increase one of the strengths into a 5, then everything's covered. Notice how consistent this game is when you have consistency. Alright, I kind of like having the strength item because it evens out my items. I don't know that that's necessarily a good strategy, but hey, 1 extra die of each color. 2 experience I'm still not really keen on, but 1 more skill and then I can only take experience. And then this guy. Well, consistency actually doesn't really help me that much. It covers the armors, it gives me the strength square, but I have to get 5s and 6s, and if I fail this outright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Like, if I roll only 1s and 3s, I can't cover anything, right? But triple strike, very expensive, but it would kind of fix a lot of the boss right here, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna roll 1 on my die. And it's a 3, so it gets discarded. And then I'm gonna roll my other dice, and I'm gonna roll only 1s and 3s, just to discard everything. But that wasn't really that bad of a roll, other than the fact I don't have a consistency sacrifice. But I could convert those to a heroic, but then I can convert those to a heroic to put into consistency, but then I have nothing to consistent, so that's sad. I like that you're just communicating in emotes. Makes this fun. Well, so the strength, other than that 3, it's covered. The agility, other than the 6, it's covered. And I can't really get a 6 anywhere with what I have. So static burst would give me this die I need to cover. Actually, no, I can get a 6 with static burst, right? Static burst would give me the agility 4 I need for that. It would give me the strength I need for that. All the other squares are covered. It would increase this to a 6, and then I'd only take 1 damage from this 6, and I can't cover that 6 unless I increase this to a 6, but then I would still take a heart of damage, but I'd also spend 1 time. Yeah. Except I have to cover these first. Oh, I increased the wrong one. Dumb. All right, increase that one. Yes. That 5's going there. We have a 4. We have a 4, 5, 6, 5, 3, and I only take 1 heart. But triple strike. Expensive, but good. I think I'm gonna disenchant. I'm at my item limit, I'm at my skill limit. But 3 experience is good. Especially because I'm out of items and skills. Item and skill slots, to clarify. And haste isn't good for what I'm trying to do. If I enter this door, then I can't spend any time. Otherwise, I can't explore any other door. If I explore right now, I get 3 doors, but then I spend 2 time, and I can still only open 1 door. So I guess I'm gonna open this door and hope that not spend any time. And picking the lock is not ideal anyway, so I will bash it open. I have 5 dice. I have to get 11 with 4, which is less than 3 average, so it should be doable. Emphasis on should. Well, we did it. So... yeah, I don't really want to remove anything else, so experience. I guess, actually, let's undo. I think the strength die is more valuable than the agility die, because the agility die would sacrifice for a strength that can go towards triple strike, which gives me an agility 5. Right? I think I'm going to replace the agility die. Stay on the floor. And this is the door. Spend time for each skill I use. Still worth it. I'm gonna roll here. I want to level up. Oh man, that goes towards triple strike at least. If I can get away without using it though, obviously. 5, 3, 4. I want to keep that if I can, because then all the other squares are covered, and my strength roll is so good that this kind of takes care of that issue. So not only do I not spend any time, I don't take any damage. All right, we have the heroism potion again, but leveling up is also kind of tempting, but heroism is very good. So I'm just gonna take heroism and not level up. Invisibility is also a good potion. Spend 2 time and skip to the claim loot. So in other words, if you were going to flee, spend the invisibility potion and you still get the 2 time you would have spent for fleeing, but you also get to get the reward. All right, enter. And I don't have any stored heroics, and that is a ridiculous strength roll. Is everything covered? Almost? Sort of? I mean, other than that mana. But my strength is so good, I could sacrifice 2 of my strength 6s and still have every. No, I'm just kidding. I forgot I have the strength 6 there. Damn it. Damn it. All right, so let's not do that then, because I have to keep that 6. I have to do a 5 there. Hopefully that goes there, but it could be triple striked. And actually, triple strike would give me the mana, and it would give me the agility. And it would give me a 5 back. Yeah, so then if I... So that would work then. I can make one of them a 6 for no reason. I have the 6 sitting here. No mint. Rip the mints. Yeah, I'm gonna take invisibility. So now if there's an encounter I'm not sure about, like this guy, I could just invisibility. But chaotic aura. Chaotic aura and consistency. Did someone just say victory? Still happy about the time he covered every box on the ogre. Also, it's kind of weird how this has just completely stretched over and put the O way down here. That's my chat window for you. One of these days, I'm gonna figure out how to not do window capture for this. Like, I'm window capturing right now, which is why you get to see the ban button, the timeout button, and the delete button. I wonder if I can actually show mod icons. Yeah, that would get rid of that. That cleans that up a bit, actually. I don't know why I never did that before. Should I turn on slow mode? I'm kind of wasting time here. I kind of want to see if I can add seconds to the time is what I'm doing, but it doesn't matter. All right, one of these days I'm going to figure out so the problem, like there are many means through like Streamlab shenanigans. Also, my brightness is being weird. It's auto adjusting and flashing ridiculously. I kind of don't like that. There are several options for getting, let me do this. Is it auto? It's not even auto. Why is it doing that? There's no auto adjustment here. Like right light. Look at that. Look how shiny this is. That's not too good. Yeah, see, it's flickering there because it's adjusting the white balance. Which, this is probably closer to what it looks like in real life, but this kind of makes it seem like it's not as yellow. Sorry, I'm playing around with random things while trying to explain all the sorts of things. That's probably a fine game. I don't know why it was flickering though, because it wasn't auto. One of these days, going back to what I was saying before I got sidetracked twice, The problem is that there's many things that can capture chat, but it's almost always if it's only your chat, and this is Handelabra chat. I'm streaming on the Handelabra channel, but it's because I have their stream key. I'm not actually logged into their account. So, I mean, I actually have access to the dashboard, which also doesn't help for chat reasons, but I'm capturing a window, long story short. So, I'm just doing window capture on the chat. So I have the chat window, but I'm window capturing it, which is why every time I hover over something, it shows for you, because it's showing you what I see on the chat window. As the result, though, every single time I start the stream, I actually have to get this window manually set up, which isn't terrible, but all right. Digression set aside. So if you haven't caught on to what I was saying here earlier, Chaotic Aura is a ridiculous skill when comboed with Consistency. Chaotic Aura, you spend 6 mana, you pick a value, and you change up to 5 of your dice of that value to 6s. Consistency, you spend an agility, and you change any or all of your dice to 4s. So if you use Consistency and get 4s, and then use Chaotic Aura, you can select 4, and you can change up to 5 of your 4s to 6s. And that's what breaks the game. So the question is, do I want to fight you straight up? The answer is almost certainly no, because all of these strength squares, all of these agility squares, and the mana square. But you know what potion I just grabbed? Invisibility? Yes. Let's just eat 2 time and get this skill. So Static Burst versus Triple Strike now. So Triple Strike's actually valued a little less because I have other means of getting 6s now. And it's very expensive at 3 strength. Static Burst is cheaper. It gives me 2 4s, which could essentially be increased with Chaotic Aura to 6s. And then I increase one of my dice by 1, which, you know, it can turn the 4 into a 5. And I still need 5s. Not, I mean, it could be 6s, but 5s are still useful. So the other consideration note is that I'm three experience away from leveling up, and Static Burst would do that. Triple Strike would do it, but I would lose the experience point. Also, Static Burst costs mana, and Chaotic Aura costs mana. So there might be some reason to try to diversify my skill dice usage. So do I want to lose Static Burst, or do I want to lose Triple Strike? I mean, I guess since I don't want to... I mean, I just said Static Burst versus Triple Strike, and now I'm reversing my mind. Ah! Everything I just said was a lie! I kind of just want to lose Static Burst because I need the mana for Chaotic Aura. Triple Strike gives me something that will fund Chaotic Aura, I guess. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Completely change my mind, and so now I kind of need dice. Like, I absolutely need dice to fund these skills. Also, they don't work in traps, which is sad. Critical Strikes, also something game breaking here, because it's an automatic skill, so it's free. Change one or two agility dice into heroics of the same values, which basically means I'll get heroic 6s when all is said and done. So many options going on here. I'm gonna enter slow time, and I'm gonna roll one of these dice. And it was tragic. I did get a 6, but I can't cover the 6 and the 11. That's okay, 1 damage isn't bad. But I do want critical strikes. I think I'm getting a bunch of skills that are gonna make the rest of this trivial. Yeah, we'll spend even more time. I'm always going with the 3 experience or 3 time route for some reason. All right, I have a 6. I have something that's a 2, and then I have the 8. But I'll take the die because I need something to fund Chaotic Aura. All right, stay on the floor. And this spends 3 time, which translates to 1 damage. Or I could invisibility and not spend 3 time, but instead spend 2 time. Yeah, I'll just do that. Easy peasy. Okay. I think I want the die. We had Lucky Familiar last time, but I want the die. Because we need dice. And I'm not gonna... Yeah, we'll just descend. We don't really need to stay on this floor. Okay. Let's destroy it. Oh, I did not want to roll 2. Every single time I've rolled a die from Valiant, it's been a 1 or a 2. Except for the one time it was not a 1 or a 2. If you ignore all the times that I rolled something that wasn't a 1 or a 2, I only rolled 1s and 2s. But barely enough, so I guess that was a good enough Valiant roll. I'm at my item limit. I will take the item anyway. So what's this? It's the potion. I don't want that potion. I'll take the item anyway. I want to keep the agility die because it can turn into a heroic. And I want strength dice for triple strike. Mana's not as important even though it funds chaotic aura. Because triple strike can fund chaotic aura. So I'll replace the mana. Okay. Yeah, we'll climb around. I'm spending lots of time. I'm always going with the 3 time option for some reason. Because the other option is bad. That's the reason. Okay. Where does it put us? Item limit, skill limit. Dexterity isn't better than any of these things because chaotic aura gives me an agility 6. So do I want the strength item? Yeah, because that will fund triple strike. Do you notice what I'm doing here is I'm getting strength dice so I can not worry about anything else? All right, enter. Don't need that. I think it doesn't even matter. Like, once you're at the point where it doesn't matter what you've rolled, you know you're doing well. So do I need to use consistency here? Well, consistency, I want to use triple strike anyway. Kind of doesn't even, I think we already have everything covered anyway, but let's just entertain this round for the moment. Make one of these a 6. Let's make the mana a 6, because then I can chaotic aura, but first we want to consistency. That would turn that 2 into a 4, but it's a heroic, so that's good. I'll select 4, and I'll turn most things into 6s, all but 1. Actually, I don't need that mana. Let's do that. And then critical strikes to turn my 2 agilities into heroics. Woo! Now look at all the 6s I have here. Look at all these 6s. Aren't they pretty 6s? So pretty. Look at all those 6s. Okay, so now that we've entertained the thought of dicking around, basically, I still have to cover armors. And as fun as it was to turn those into heroics, it ultimately still got used on agility. Imagine how many 6s you'd have if the game weren't too random to win. Yes. All right. I don't need that heart, I think. So I'm gonna replace my heart item just so I can get more experience. If any armor boxes are empty, discard this instead of looting. But this is a combat, so I can fight it. I'm gonna use this die. Yeah, I think we know what guy is being talked about. Although a lot of what he says is garbage anyway. All right, so triple strike, I think, kind of, I mean, I do need strength, but can you say no to 3 5s? Does it matter which one is a 6? No. I have to do one of these, but it doesn't matter. I'll just make the strength a 6 so that I only have strength 6s. In fairness, I rolled like 4 of those, didn't I? So yeah, that's kind of cheating, isn't it? To roll 6s automatically. Yeah, let's not dick around. There's a term in poker for like taking your time. Like it's called slow roll. Oh, there's more. Ugh. People in poker really hate it when you slow roll. Like if you already have the best hand and you call, opponent reveals their hand and they're like, I got a straight flush, it's such a good hand, and you're like, oh man, that is so hard to beat, I have no idea how I'm gonna do it, oh this is so terrible, royal flush. Yeah, people hate it. Item limit, skill limit, I don't need accuracy. I'm losing experience, but I'll take the experience. I have another potion. Can we count all the ways I can get 6s? I have heroism, I have chaotic aura, I have triple strike. That's lots of ways of getting 6s. However, most of them don't help on perils, except for heroism. Climb around would give me a heart of damage, and I don't really need to do that. So I'm just gonna flee. I'm gonna stay on the floor, but I'm gonna flee. I'm gonna check this other door over here. Clobber logs will give me a heart of damage. Dodge logs will hurt. Cleave gives me a +1 to 4 of my dice. Which might not really be worth it, considering consistency will turn the strength into a 4, and I put that into this thing. And then it increases for my dice by 1s, which is equal to everything. It is definitely a very useful skill in general. Cleave is very nice. Like if you only had a strength 1 or whatever, you put it here, you could increase 4 of your dice by 1. Could give you 6s, could give you 5s. But consistency and chaotic aura is already ridiculous enough that I don't even want to do this. So I'm just gonna flee and descend, if that's okay. And I have potions to spare. Like, this will only last 2 rounds. I could use heroism, like, many times, but I'm gonna heal, just because. Okay. So where are we? So my mana roll was not too good. But it doesn't matter when we have triple strike. We'll do that, but we will throw, and I think we'll just throw this heroic because critical strikes now makes agility essentially the same as heroics anyway. Increase everything that's. It just says any or all, and you actually have an option here that you don't really want to exercise too often, but you could change a 5 into a 4. You could change a 4 into a 4 for no reason. You can change a 6 into a 4. But like for chaotic aura, there might be a reason to change this 5 into a 4, but I think I don't need to. It's not gonna, like, I already have too many dice to swap anyway. So I'll spend the 6 there, select a 4, get the mana 6, get the strength 6, and then we already have an agility 6 and an agility 5, so we need another agility 5, and then I might as well do the heroic after that. And then what do I need more, the strength or the mana? Strength is covered, so I want the mana. We'll change the mana into the 6. And then I could critical strikes. Now the problem is I can't put a heroic die on the armor boxes, which is why I have those 6s for that. I could put a 6 on the shield box though, so it could go there, and I have 6s for everything else. And then I looked at the wrong box when I calculated this, but that's fine. And then, oh no, I only have 1 die left. How am I going to be able to put this into 16 when I can't convert it to a heroic? Oh wait, I can. Now it's called showboating when I'm bragging like that. Okay, 1 more round, 3 potions. that can be 3 uses of heroism. Oh my god, look at all those strength 1s. I guess they're gonna go in the triple strike. We have a mana 6 for Chaotic Aura. We need an agility 5 anyway. I guess I'm gonna convert the strength, even though, like, I mean, it doesn't ultimately matter because I'm gonna get 6s in so many other ways. Let's see, that's definitely gonna go there. Basically everything that's already 6, so it might as well just be placed. Anything that's not a 4 or higher should just be placed because it's not gonna go anywhere. So everything else is gonna get converted. I guess the agility, or the mana 6 actually should go into Chaotic Aura. You could do it with a sum of other dice, but oh, actually no, let's do consistency first because we kind of need force. And then Chaotic Aura, select 4, that's my only choice, and then change numbers of these. So the strength is already going to cover that 17. So I guess, well, yeah, okay. So I don't think we're gonna cover all the squares, or all the rectangles rather, but we will have enough damage to beat the boss, which is the important thing. Or I will have enough to cover all the rectangles. There we go. That's how you beat the dragon. Get consistency and Chaotic Aura together, and then it doesn't matter what you do at that point. Welcome to the dragon tutorial with Dolphin. Now, definitely that combo is very powerful, but it is available in the main game. Yeah, and Triple Strike helped as well. Yeah, those are combos that exist in the main game. So, TLDR, One Deck Dungeon is not ultimately a random game. It's a game of mitigating the randomness. The early game is the most random, but the skills you pick up are supposed to help with the random. Did the dragon bring a knife to a gunfight? Silly dragon. Alright, that was fun to actually play a not progression game. But we will proceed back to progression. We still have a long way to go towards maxing out these sheets. I don't really know actually if the achievements... Like, the achievement might only want the base focuses for, like, the base heroes. The Forest of Shadows ones might want the Forest of Shadows ones. I don't know. But, yeah, we'll definitely focus that in the future. You can't see this because it doesn't show the Steam window on stream, right? Yeah. But we still have a number of achievements we still have to get. Yeah, we still have to win a game without claiming an item, win a game without claiming a skill. We did all the ones that said claim only automatic skills, claim only strength skills, etc. But still have to win a game without claiming any item or any skill. The skill one's gonna be hard, but those are ones I would definitely be doing on novice at that point. But all right, it is time for the Sentinels, the multiverse part of the stream. So let's go to the dashboard. Actually, let's open up Sentinels. Let's change the game to Sentinels. All right, and is it displayed on screen? It is. So we are in the middle of the Summer of Challenges, and the rules for Summer of the Challenges, we are progressing deck by deck. Is this actually sorted? Oh, it's sorted by expansion. I don't normally do that. But we have beaten the base villains and their variants on challenge. We've beaten Ambuscade, which means the next round of villains are the Rook City villains. So Summer of Challenges, we're playing on challenge difficulty, and we are restricting ourselves to the decks from the expansion unless we run out of decks like we did last week or 2 weeks ago. I think it was last week, wasn't it? We did Ambuscade last week. So let's start with Plague Rat, I would say, just for fun. And so we are restricted to 2 heroes because those are the only 2 heroes there. We're restricted to a Rook City environment. Let's do Pike because I feel like that's thematic for Plague Rat. But we need more decks, and furthermore, I want we're gonna have a minimum of 3 heroes. We're gonna play with 3 heroes is the other rule. But the last rule of some of the challenges is that we want to play with the Nemesis, and Plague Rat's Nemesis is Chrono-Ranger. So Chrono-Ranger is a Shattered Timelines hero. We're going to lead with Chrono. So we're doing Rook City villain on challenge difficulty with only Rook City decks. 3 hero team, leader must be Nemesis. Those are all the rules and stipulations of Summer of Challenges. I'm going to stick with these guys, not variant it up, let's just do base game. So challenge Plague Rat versus Chrono-Ranger, Expatriette, and Mr. Fixer in Pike Industrial Complex. Sniff, sniff, tasty old meat. The damnable rat beast is back. It wants a piece of my shooting arm. Speaking of guns and dragons. Alright, so Chrono-Ranger has Bounty Board, 2 Hunter and Hunteds, and a Jim's Hat. Expatriette has 2 Arsenal Accesses, a Liquid Nitrogen Rounds, and Speed Loading. Mr. Fixer has Bloody Knuckles, Driving Mantis, Grease Gun, and Pipe Wrench. So, Plague Rat. Let's see. So, if an infection is destroyed, Plague Rat deals each hero target 3 toxic. At the end of the villain turn, Plague Rat deals each hero target 1 irreducible melee. At the start of the villain turn, Plague Rat deals each non-villain target 1 toxic damage. So, yes, there's damages here. Plague Rat is basically the damage race villain. And if he flips, infected heroes have powers involving dealing themselves or other hero targets damage to either regain HP or destroy an infection. At the end of the villain turn, Plague Rat deals each hero target 1 irreducible melee damage. Also, at the start of the villain turn, Plague Rat deals each infected hero 2 toxic damage. Yeah. Have I said the word damage yet today? Damage! Also, increased damage dealt by Plague Rat and infected heroes by 1. Because Plague Locust. Shadowy Ambush. So if he deals 5 or more damage, a card gets played. Kind of bad. Kind of don't have ongoing destruction, so we have to deal with that. So like, if, like, and he does have the potential for that, right? Yeah, deal the lowest HP. If that's Chrono-Ranger, that will be 5. This card deals 5 damage straight up, and it could potentially deal 5 damage to Chrono-Ranger, so yeah. He does have avenues of 5 damage, but Jim's Hat is what we're going to play here. Bounty Board. Well, there's no bounties in my trash, but this does deal 1 damage, and it's a damage race. I could also play Hunter and Hunted, I guess, and get set up, even though there's no bounties in play, but someday there will be. On the price. Alright, so Liquid Nitrogen Rounds, not useful when I don't have a gun. Speed Loading, not useful when I don't have a gun. So Arsenal Access, which gives me a shotgun and shock rounds. Perfect, I'll take the shotgun. I've said this a million times. My main issue with Expatriette is that her base power is to play a card, but she lacks card draw otherwise. Like, none of her cards say draw a card, so yeah. The Rook City villains and heroes, I think, were kind of like nothing against them at all, nothing against Greater the Games. They were definitely experimenting with other kinds of things, like a setup heavy hero or a hero that has only 1 power. And Mr. Fixer does work very well. Expatriette generally not as well. She still works well, but not as well. Alright, Driving Mantis, I think, because that will redirect some of the damage. However, Plague Rat is doing 2 instances of damage each round, so it's not as flawless or as useful as some Plague Rat games. Experimental Mutagen, which does not increase Plague Rat's damage, thankfully. Yeah, Dark Watch Expatriette, at least her base power kind of is useful. Not that it's not useful, but... Oh look, he's gonna play an extra card. He's gonna play 2 cards! Afflicted Frenzy. And Vicious Onslaught. I think if we lose this fight, we'll play it again, but with variants. This should be fine on Fixer because he can redirect it, right? 1 + 1 is 2. 2 is 2 or less. Okay. Oh, but then this is gonna trigger. But that's not even going to Fixer, so that's whatever. All right, I earned a prize. Gives me just doing my job, so let's just do my job. Let's discard Hunter and Hunted. It's already in play, and Plague can't destroy ongoings. Speed loading I don't like as much. I feel like speed loading, despite its name, it's kind of a slow card. The speed part is that you can play an ammo at the start of your turn. The slow part is you take an ammo from your trash and put it on the top of your deck, which you can't otherwise draw until your draw phase. So you're sacrificing your draw to get an ammo from your trash. I kind of feel like it would be a bit better if these two clauses were flip-flopped. At the start of your turn, you may play an ammo card. At the start of your turn, you may take an ammo card from your trash and put it on top of your deck. Because then you could play... Or no, wait, no, never mind. That wouldn't work anyway, right? Because I'm thinking ammos go straight to your trash. No, that's bad. No, that wouldn't matter anyway. Okay. But I do think it's not necessarily... I don't know. My hypothesized variant, by the way, for Expatriette, the Lewd Expatriette or something, the Ludolphatriette, Ludolphintriette. The base power is discard an ammo card if you do draw 2 cards. It provides a card draw, and it provides a means of recycling the ammo cards that you start a hand with and can't otherwise use. Like if you start with 4 ammo cards, you can discard your ammo card to draw 2 cards. Woohoo! And then that ammo card could then synergize with the thing I just discarded. Speed loading. You can discard an ammo card and then put it on top of your deck so you can draw more cards. All right. I've never actually played with that power because I don't generally play with house rules. But if I were to ever play with house rules and I would play Expatriette, I would play with that random power. Not random, my self power. Okay, discard a card. Bloody Knuckles seems risky. And I think the risk would be to do by any means on Plague Rat, because it would also increase Hunter and Hunted, which would increase Plague Rat's damage to Chrono-Ranger. Displaced Armory, I can get Compounded Bow and then deal more damage to Plague Rat this turn, but not future turns. Well, yeah, future turns, but it would not increase expats or fixers damages. But if I do increase damage to Chrono, then Plague Rat is slightly more likely to play cards. So let's get the bow. There is an argument for Neurotoxin Dart Thrower because the start of turn damage is not irreducible. But it's a damage race. Okay. I could liquid nitrogen. Yeah, we'll do that. Hey, look, I can redirect this one. If I play dual crowbars or pipe wrench, then actually driving mantis won't help because infection is self-irreducible damage. So I don't want to do those cards, I think. I could stop Plague Rat from dealing damage with Grease Gun. Sometimes what you need to win the damage race is to blow out your opponent's tires. I think if I'm gonna grease gun, I should probably do it next round, because then I could do by any means, and then Plague Rat can't damage Chrono. So I think I'm not gonna play a card here. Like, it's kind of backwards, but Dual Crowbars and Pipe Wrench, which are cards that do more damage, will end up doing less damage to Plague Rat because I can't redirect the self-damage. Crowbars does increase Fixer's damage to the rat. It also increases his damage to himself, and he can't redirect that damage anymore. Yes, I know that. I'm aware. I think Chrono's biting the dust. Well, the good news is he didn't deal 5 damage thanks to liquid nitrogen rounds. The bad news is he's dying here. Remember when I wanted to do by any means and stuff? Yeah, well, that's not happening now. Play a card, use a power, deal 1 target 1 damage. Well, shotgun would be the better power. 1 damage isn't gonna do much. Play a card isn't gonna do much. So I selected play a card. And I almost used the power that said play a card. So I'm clearly very well oriented here. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna survive. That's not gonna matter. Escaped Lab Rat is targeting Fixer and Expat. So I'm gonna dual Crowbars now. Which will not take out the Escaped Lab Rat. I could have used Grease Gun, I guess, but the problem is the self-damage. Also, the problem is I can't redirect this damage now. And the problem is that Plague Rat's gonna kill us at the start of his turn. So there we go. Game over, dude. Game over. Alright, so the rules of Summer of the Challenges is if you lose, you have to try again. But we're gonna do variants. I'm gonna just keep the same order. Ah, come on. And then we'll still do Pike, because I like Pike. That was a nasty starting hand. We'll do better. Snarl, meat, metal, meat. Ah, you and I have some unfinished business. Rat, quit your growling and make your move. Alright, Displaced Armory. Eye on the prize. Hunter and Hunted, Ranger's Mark. Arsenal access, flak jacket, reload, shock rounds, no guns. Dual crowbars, grease gun, grease monkey fist, tire iron. No one said something about using dual crowbars. Immune to toxic. And what is this? Oh, yeah, redirect to infected heroes or prevent it. All right, Jim's hat. Always start with Jim's hat. That's like the first rule of Displaced Armory is Jim's hat. And then let's get the bow. Second rule of Displaced Armory, compounded bow. So yeah, there are arguments against getting the hat when you don't have cards, but I don't know, the hat's good. But yeah, whatever. First rule of Displaced Armory. Any decision is a good decision. Or just get both. Yeah. All right. Arsenal access for a submachine gun or a submachine gun. I wonder what I'm gonna play. And actually, it's kind of equal whether I do base power or submachine gun right now, right? I think I'm actually gonna use base power in case I can do something extra next turn. I mean, Plague Rat would heal the damage back anyway. So Fixer now. If I play dual crowbars and I use dual crowbars, I'd have to destroy something. Someone might say dual crowbars is worth keeping regardless. Someone's gonna say Jim's hat isn't so useful when you don't have the cards to fund it. Someone might be right. First rule of Displaced Armory. Use it to give a card that will feed Fixer's Frenzy. No, the first rule of Displaced Armory. You don't talk about Displaced Armory. Second rule of Displaced Armory. You don't talk about Displaced Armory. Third rule of Displaced Armory. Displaced Armory will do anything to make sure that Displaced Armory survives. Wait, what? Alright, Chrono. Because damage. Alright, just doing my job. No bounties in my trash. Don't need 2 flak jackets. Game's not gonna last that long. Get eye on the prize. Neurotoxin dart thrower. The whole gang. And then damage. And then damage. And let's not select toxic here. He's immune to toxic. Okay. Shock rounds. Because I base powered. And that was why not using submachine gun right away was nice. You can get rid of Sewer Fiend now. Grease Monkey Fist for maximum damage. It would take out Plague Locust, right? Well, actually, dual crowbars would already do that. I don't really have something to take out other than the submachine gun, but then Expat doesn't have a card or a gun anymore. But it's probably worth doing because damage. Let's not select toxic. He's immune to toxic. Fixer's angry. Oh, but compounded bow. But I guess since I took out Plague Locust, Chrono does not have a +1 anymore. So I guess we'll do that and just put the neurotoxin dart thrower out. Chemical explosion, but Plague Rat's immune to toxic. Oh well. Honestly, Pike Industrial is one of my favorite environments. The music is very fitting. And it's very swingy. Sometimes you get games where damage is increased by a bajillion. Sometimes you get games where damage is reduced by a bajillion and you keep healing up. Sometimes you get games where every time you play a card, you get dealt 1 damage in the end of the environment turn, deal 1, 1, and 1 to every single target, and you just hold the tab button down. Oh, shoot, you're immune to toxic. That's right. That changes this decision a little bit. Not significantly, though. I guess I'll just do my job. That's no executions does not matter. Reload when or do I still have a gun? Oh, I still have a gun. Yeah, I do. That probably means I want reload then, but that's fine. I'm not gonna use hoist chain. First rule of just doing my job. No talking about just doing my job. Sure, let's select Plague Rat to have him be affected by every single bounty that's not really in play. Alright, Afflicted Frenzy is gonna help us out. Rather, getting rid of Afflicted Frenzy will help us out. And then Submachine Gun. So we're doing better than we were last game in that he has less HP and we have more HP. Salvage Yard. I like that card. It's a good card. Do I want to bounce this? Do I want to sacrifice Chrono? I'm going to say no. I'll just... It's only going to be 2 extra damage to play Grat. It's not worth it. Let's get rid of Toolbox because I have other cards to play. Oh, speaking of the card that you hold tab down for. Also, it's bad when it redirects to Chrono because of Sewer Fiend. And Chrono's dead, by the way. And Shadowy Ambush, which is good because Chrono's dead, so we don't have Nemesis damage anymore. So, variant Chrono. One player may draw a card. One hero may use a power until the start of your next turn. At the start of a player's turn, they may discard a card to play a card. Wow. That is cool. But Expatriette doesn't have much to benefit from that. In fact, she has nothing to benefit from that. Fixer could, like, Savage Yard to get an Overdrive back, and then play Overdrive. Or no, wait, no, Overdrive would... Never mind, it doesn't come back. You can play Overdrive, and you can play Savage Yard to play Overdrive. I don't think that would work either, because you can only use strike twice this turn, so no. So I guess I'm not going to do that then. So I guess it's power then. Bearing in mind, when we play a card, we get dealt 1 damage, so we don't want to do that part. And what does Grease Gun say? Non-hero targets, so that doesn't help with that. But doesn't stop powers, and Fixer is mad. Oh yeah, we still have to destroy something. Fixer's mad. Expatriette is just gonna sit here and wait for a card that can do something. Fixer's gonna Salvage Yard, maybe? Although we don't have a card anymore to destroy with that. This might be a good opportunity to Grease Gun, even though it's not going to stop the super cool Trisulfan Fat. Could charge. Yeah, we'll charge. And is Expat going to survive? Well, if I hit Expat, then Fixer becomes highest. I want the damage dealt to Playgrat to redirect to... Or no, wait, it redirects to an infected hero. Oh, that's why Chrono died. Okay. So it just gets prevented. Okay, so that's not bad. I thought that it was going to redirect to the highest for some reason. All right. I like you, Expat, but I like me more. Oh man, I have to destroy one of my cards now? This game's terrible. I probably should have destroyed dual crowbars. Because I could Salvage Yard dual crowbars back and play that on my turn. So I'm going to do that instead. I'm going to come to regret this decision. Alright, so now what is the environment gonna play? Chemical explosion! No way! Are we gonna survive this round? No! Well, actually... I mean, yes. But actually, no. Yeah, Fixer's dying. He's at 1. I think that this incap effect would trigger before the self-damage. So we could play a card at the start of Fixer's turn. I don't think it's gonna help at all. Destroy an ongoing card isn't gonna help because if I destroy Infection, then Plague Rat retaliates. Reducing the next damage dealt to a hero doesn't help when it's an irreducible damage. So I'm just gonna have Fixer use Bitter Strike twice. Womp womp. Still died. All right. Let's do that again, but with the base villains or base heroes. I feel like Challenge Cosmic Omnitron took fewer attempts than this. Actually, no, it didn't. It took. We failed. Well, no. What? No. That was not the right button. Not that hero either. Ah. Don't hit randomize, but also changes the challenge. I almost hit start. Yeah, sure. I'm experiencing deja vu right now. I feel like we've done this fight before, twice. Hunter and Hunted, kill on strike, kill on sight, the Masada and the whole gang. Arsenal Axis, Hair Trigger, Reflexes, Prejudice, Tactical Shotgun, Bloody Knuckles, Hoist Chain, Overdrive, Tire Iron. Yeah, Dark Watch Expat could help. Variant Chrono I don't think is helpful in this fight. Variant Dark Watch is repetitive. Dark Watch Fixer is very costly with only 3 heroes. Let's give this to someone who can do a lot of damage. Chrono can't. Not this time. Fixer probably wants to do Hoist Chain. Of these 4 cards, that's probably the most useful. And if he has Hoist Chain when he's infected, that's not good. So I guess it's Expat. There could be something to be said about taking out Plague Locust, but I generally find that it's better to keep it and increase the hero damage, because if you have infected heroes, you hit yourself harder and Plague Rat hits you harder, but you also hit Plague Rat harder, and I feel like generally you do more damage to Plague Rat than you do to yourself, so... But I could also be wrong. So neither of these bounties will help, but it would power up Masada and Hunter and Hunted. So I guess we're putting it out there just to have it. I guess I could put one of those on Plague Locust, and I guess kill on sight on Plague Locust at least makes some sense. Alright, let's do Prejudice. Maybe we'll get Pride. I mean, Tactical Shotgun would do more damage, but Prejudice and Pride together, I can't resist. And then let's try to slow down your non-irreducible damage part. For all the good it'll do me. Biomimetic Plasma Vat, which doesn't help with the irreducible. But Masada can still be used. Yay! Now, pride doesn't really help. But I have a shotgun now. So I have that going for me, which is nice. Alright, now Fixer can't actually hit Plague Rat, but if I do Bloody Knuckles, I would. It will only slightly hurt me. Hey, if life gives you Bloody Knuckles, make Bloody Knuckle aid. Infection. Sounds kind of dirty. Infection cancels out plasma vats, so I could Terrible Tech Strike and do meaningful damage. We're just damage racing here with a vat that's not helping. Alright, and Fixer's not infected, so it's not bad. So I'll just Bloody Knuckles again. It does not help with the irreducible damage, I know. But I at least reduce his damage by 1, which kind of, sort of, maybe helps a little bit. And if I could somehow do damage to Plague Rat with that style, that would be nice, because then I don't care about the vat anymore. The problem is doing damage with that style. It's not easy. I guess Shadowy Ambush and Bloody Knuckles are not necessarily a good combination on second thought. Well, and Fixer's infected, so he's gonna hit himself and reduce his damage by 1, so that's not good. But the good news is I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 50% or more on car insurance. I don't even know if they still use that phrase in their commercials. Oh man, I remember, like, I think that commercial even dates back to high school for me. I don't know, like, I'm sure, like, you know, various companies have different catchphrases. Like, I remember when Geico's Gecko first came out, and their shtick was Geico kept answering the phone and was saying, "For the last time, it's Gecko, not Geico." And then, like, 6 months later, he's working for Geico, and he's like the mascot of Geico. You took a call and muted, but you saw both losses. And there's the emote Scar Shock. Is that Lucario, or is that just... I guess it's not Lucario. Looked like a Pokemon I recognized. But he doesn't look that furry. Caveman Saga. So easy, even a caveman could do it. Yeah, I don't have high hopes for this match. I'm just gonna Hunter and Hunted and have another game where Chrono bites the dust. It's an original character. Oh, okay. So it's not any reference to anything. Got it. Okay. Hollow points. Sure. That's something. And then Fixer hits himself. Reduce damage dealt by Fixer by 1. Sadness. Let's replace this with Tire Iron so that I could do something maybe. Can't hit Plague Rat now. Can't hit anything at all. And now damage is reduced by 2. How fitting, the time traveler is the first to bite the dusto. I normally like Biomimetic Plasma Vat because I feel like it's generally helpful to the heroes because you could generally overpower the damage reduction more easily than the villains. Plague Rat is an exception because he does irreducible damage. And yeah, and we also deal ourselves irreducible damage. It sounds like Crown is going to take himself out at the start of his turn. No way. Surprised Pikachu. Power play damage. So we could destroy infections if we deal ourselves toxic damage. It is reduced. It's not irreducible damage. So actually, the plasma vats would help us. But I definitely don't want Fixer to play Riveting Crane before he does his self-damage. That's probably a bad idea. But what I could do is have Fixer destroy Infection, and then he could do something. So yeah, let's have Fixer deal themselves. Actually, we could have a hero deal a hero target 3 toxic and regain 3 HP and actually profit. Oh, and Hoist Chain actually helps there. Nice. Yeah, let's get rid of Fixer's Infection. Okay, I'll stop making JoJo references for now. Alright, hair trigger reflexes because I don't know. And now we are no longer infected. Yay! We did it, Reddit. Woo! Riveting Crane. And then I still can't hit anything for -1 damage. And now the bats have blown up, so I'm not even getting the HP that I was hoping to have. Oh, Plague Rat, why are you being so hard? Is it because I'm stuck with these 3 heroes and I feel like there are better choices? I mean, like, Chrono's generally a good choice, and Fixer's generally a good choice, so I guess that's not the problem. I think the problem is that 3 heroes against Plague Rat is generally a bad idea. More heroes, more opportunities to overwhelm. So now you're starting to see where Summative Challenges becomes hard. Alright, 8:58, we can do one more game. First rule of Dolphin's Dive is we can always do more than one game. So let's do the team that is theorized to be better. And I guess we could do Rook City, but I'm going to avoid that. Because that's probably just going to add fuel to the fire of destruction. So how do we make this a tasty old mate? Sorry, try to make Plague Rat British. Then I remembered I can't actually impersonate British accents that well. Chrono-Ranger has Dead or Alive, Eye on the Prize, No Executions, Sudden Contract. So that gives me an HP. This gives me any bounty, and then I can do damage with that. Arsenal Access, Hollow Points, Liquid Nitrogen, Submachine Gun, Bloody Knuckles, Grease Gun, Overdrive, Riveting Crane. So yeah, the card that Fixer loves and has been missing this entire time is Jack Handle. So we should try to fix that. I don't know how, but we should try to fix it. Tooth and Claw is giving us an infection. So how do we want to utilize this infection? I've always just been giving it to Chrono. That's probably where Chrono keeps dying, because I keep infecting him first. Much to most people's chagrin. Alright, let's do Eye on the Prize, because that's 3 damage. And then I might get Jim's hat. Nope. But I can Sudden Contract for by any means. So I did lots of damage this round. 11 damage. Submachine gun. And I think using base power is not as effective when there's a +1 to Plague Rat. And then, all damage dealt to that target is irreducible. Let's play that and hope to actually utilize it this time. Come on, Biomedic Plasma Vat. No! Sewer Fiend. That's not really terrible. So it would be a really bad card if we saw the vat that made damage toxic. Thankfully, we've not seen that vat. Alright. Ultimate target. This is the ultimate target of ultimate destiny. Good guys, bad guys, and explosions as far as the eye can see. And only one can survive. I wonder who it will be. This is the ultimate target of ultimate destiny. Okay. Hollow points. I could also do liquid nitrogen. You think it will be Plague Rat? Nope, it is Mr. Rogers. Pipe wrench. That will at least reduce the non-irreducible damage. It's such a good song. I'm not gonna pull it up because I'm sure copyright issues. But Ultimate Showdown lyrics. That is definitely not Ultimate Showdown right there. I like the part right after Chuck Testa comes down. Then Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White and Monty Python and the Holy Grail's Black Knight and Benito Mussolini and the Blue Meanie and Cowboy Curtis and Jambi the Genie, RoboCop, Terminator, Captain Kirk and Darth Vader, Lopez, Superman, every single Power Ranger, Billis Preston and Theodore Logan, Spock the Rock, Doc Ock, and Hulk Hogan. The fight raged on for a century. Many lines were... Okay, I don't remember actually the musical part of that. Okay, but yeah, that was... Yeah. Chrono can use a power. Damage dealt to Plague Rat is irreducible, though, because Mr. Fixer fixed that. Thank you, Mr. Fixer. Also, I missed what Plague Rat played. I guess he didn't play anything. And all of us are infected. Yay! And Fixer, and Chrono's going down again. Why am I not surprised? Wouldn't it be Schmister Schmodgers? We can't say that, Adam. Oh, yeah, Schmister Schmodgers. We were at Denny's. Oh, no, we can't say that. Schmenny's. We were at Schmenny's. Okay, so powered or 1 damage to Fixer doesn't really matter. But I can play Overdrive and I can use a power twice. Oh ho! And then I could salvage yard on your turn to use a power twice. Oh ho ho! Yes, I do want to use base power twice. Damage dealt to Plague Rat is now even more irreducible, and it is irreducibler. Okay, what can I do here? Prejudice would do slightly more damage to Plague Rat. Arsenal access might give me something. Got me hollow points, which does slightly more damage than prejudice. So, woo! All right. Damage dealt to Mr. Fixer is irreducible. That's tragic. So now I have a pipe wrench that does nothing except increase damage by 1. Dual crowbars. That does something. Chemical explosion, however, doesn't really do much. Except hurt us. Because Sewer Fiend came back out. And then ouch. And then, oh good, damage reduction to Plague Rat. I mean, I guess we could make damage dealt to Plague Rat irreducible, but I mean... alright, let's get dual crowbars out. Since Pipe Wrench isn't gonna help anyway. It lowered the nest. Yes, it also took out Dark Watch Expatriette. I could destroy an ongoing card! Yeah! Bestial Vitality was destroyed. Why do I feel like... Oh, poop. I have dual crowbars, but I can't actually hit Plague Rat with the thing. Oh, no. Oh, Plague Rats. I will Grease Gun and maybe survive a round, but I also can't draw cards, so it's not like I'm going to find better options. And, yep, there was a lab rat in the trash, and that's gone. Okay. I can't use a power, but I can play cards because Fixer's weird like that. I could also just deal 1 target, 1 damage, and I mean, that doesn't really do anything, but hey, there we go. Let's destroy Infection before Fixer hits himself for too much. And then, I don't know, Pipe Wrench again. Because now I'm not infected anymore. So I can sort of do something with that. And then Experimental Mutagen, which actually just negates the whole let's put out Pipe Wrench to stop Lab Rat from killing Fixer thing. But hey, this is reduced by 1, so I have that going for me, which is nice. Oh, and then Fixer's infected again. Because someone wanted to pour salt on the wound. We don't have another Grease Gun. I can destroy Infection again, but for what to what end? Fixer's dying to the Plague Rat anyway. Or to the escaped Lab Rat. We're not even dying to Plague Rat. We're dying to the escaped Lab Rat. That's how bad this game was. Plague Rat didn't kill us. The escaped Lab Rat did. Don't you ever feel bad when you like fail a test and then you walk out and then the guy, the jock who has been failing this entire course comes out and says, "Wow, that was an easy test. I didn't even have to study." You're like, "No!" I don't think it really matters if I use power or play or damage. It's all the same in the end. I guess charge would do more damage, but not substantially more. Oh, well, all right. I can destroy Infection, and then Plague Rat takes me out after all. Remember when I said it's so embarrassing when Plague Rat didn't even take you out? It doesn't help that Jack Handle hasn't shown up once. Yeah. Well, there we go. Can't be successful in everything. That's fine. First rule of Sentinels is no talking about Sentinels. And I had a title last week, and I totally forgot to write it down. And then Krista was like, "What do you want to title your episode?" And I was like, "I don't remember." So I'm going to send a message to Krista right now. The first rule of Dolphins dive. There we go. I remembered to do it before I forgot. Woo! All right, and where did my chat go? My chat disappeared. Oh, because I moved it over there for some reason. yeah, so thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. This was a fun week. I feel bad about how I treated the Oblivion game last week. I'm sorry if I came off as bitter or mean-spirited or, I guess, a little disrespectful of the game. I don't really like getting all, like, what's the word? Sore loser. And I felt like I was a bit of a sore loser last week. Because I kind of realized halfway through when I was all like, there's nothing I could do, that there was actually something I could have done, and that made me feel all the worse. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, tweet, live tweet, subtweet, anti-tweet. Talk in the Discord, talk on Twitter, talk in the realm of Discord about all of the sorts of happenings with Handelabra. I believe there was an update for, which game was it? Was it Aeon's End? No, it wasn't Aeon's End. There's something at PAX West, I believe, with Handelabra that got emailed today. Some sort of reveal that they're now being demoed on PAX West, which is nice. Oblivion pissed someone off? Nah. Anyway, yeah, so be sure to follow the Handelabra Twitter and Discord in order to get more information on things like that. Be sure to check out the other streams we have going on. We have Handelabra Live every Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, I'll actually be on the stream along with Bolnarap, who was the only, well, I shouldn't say the only, the first person, yeah, there were other people, the first person to successfully defeat the Dolphin's Gambit. Yes, Dolphin's Gambit, which was a weekly one-shot based off of a game I did on my own Dolphins dive. And so we'll be sure to replay that game with Bolnarap and see how well that goes. But be sure to tune in on Tuesday for that. Every Friday at 7 is Dolphins Dive with me and sometimes Oblivion and usually One Deck Dungeon. And we'll be continuing to Summer of Ultimates next week, or Summer of Challenges next week, where we'll try this again and hopefully win. Oh, Bolnarap is here! Yeah! And then Saturday at 8 p.m. is On Deck. And when I say Saturday at 8 p.m., I mean it usually is not on Saturday at 8 p.m. It's scheduled for Saturday at 8 p.m., meaning to say that it gets rescheduled all the time. I don't know what's happening this week. They were off last week. I think Tales from the Archive might have been off as well. I don't even remember. Last week was Gen Con and stuff happened there. I don't know if they're streaming this week or not. I don't know. Follow this channel, watch it at 8 p.m., and then yell at me when they don't show up. I'm sorry. But On Deck with Pirate Savvy and Dover is usually Saturday at 8 p.m. And then Tales from the Archive every 7 p.m. on Sunday with another letdown for some storytelling Sentinels. Sentinels the Multiverse, One Deck Dungeon, and Bottom of the Ninth are available on Steam, iOS, Android devices, and Analog Cardboard, Ink, and Dice. And Aeon's End is an early access on Steam. And there was an update recently that made a tutorial campaign available. So if you have not played Aeon's End yet, like me, you might want to actually get the early access game and check out the tutorial and learn the nuances of the game. I still need to get around to doing that, and I might do that in the next 2 weeks because I am off for the next 2 weeks because my summer classes wrapped up this week. I have to grade the final exam, but that will be done soon, and then I'll have 2 weeks off, and then the fall semester when everything picks up again. But for now, I'm off for 2 weeks. Yes. So there's that. That's all I have to say. I am just going to leave the screen here. Well, actually, I'll leave the audio on more accurately. We'll just listen to the play grab music. But thanks for watching. Have a good night.